Brilliance Audio presents Strange Highways and Other Stories by Dean Koontz. Performed by Jeff Cummings, Will Damron, Tanya Eby, Dick Hill, and Nick Podell.
Our Lady of Sorrows was as he remembered it. Dark wood lovingly polished to a satiny sheen. Stained glass windows waiting only for the appearance of the sun to paint bright images of compassion and salvation across the pews in the nave. Groin vaults receding into blue shadows above. The air woven through with a tapestry of odors, lemon oil furniture polish, incense, hot candle wax. Joey sat in the last pew, hoping that no one would recognize him. He had no friends in Asherville anymore. And without a long drink from his flask of whiskey, he wasn't prepared to endure the looks of scorn and disdain that he was sure to receive, and that, in fact, he deserved. More than 200 people attended the service, and to Joey the mood seemed even more somber than could be expected at a funeral. Dan Shannon had been well and widely liked, and he would be missed. Many of the women blotted their eyes with handkerchiefs, but the men were all dry-eyed. In Asherville, the men never wept publicly, and rarely in private. Although none had worked the mines in more than 20 years, they came from generations of miners who had lived in constant expectation of tragedy, of friends and loved ones lost to cave-ins and explosions and early-onset black lung disease. Theirs was a culture that not only valued stoicism, but could never have existed without it. Keep your feelings to yourself. Don't burden your friends and family with your own fear and anguish. Endure. That was the creed of Asherville, a guiding morality stronger even than that which was taught by the rector of Our Lady and the 2,000-year-old faith that he served. The Mass was the first that Joey had attended in 20 years. Evidently at the insistence of the parishioners, it was a classic Mass in Latin, with the grace and eloquence that had been lost when the church had gone trendy back in the 60s. The beauty of the Mass did not affect him, did not warm him. By his own actions and desire over the past 20 years, he had placed himself outside the art of faith. And now he could relate to it only in the manner of a man who studies a fine painting through the window of a gallery, his perception hampered by distorting reflections on the glass. The Mass was beautiful, but it was a cold beauty, like that of winter light on polished steel, an Arctic vista. From the church, Joey drove to the cemetery. It was on a hill. The grass was still green, littered with crisp leaves that crunched under his shoes. His father was to be buried beside his mother. No name had yet been cut into the blank half of the dual-plot headstone. Being at his mother's graveside for the first time, seeing her name and the date of her passing carved in granite, Joey did not suddenly feel the reality of her death. The loss of her had been excruciatingly real to him for the past 16 years. In fact, he had lost her 20 years ago, when he had seen her for the last time. The hearse was parked on the road near the gravesite. Lou Devakowski and his assistant were organizing the pallbearers to unload the casket. The open grave awaiting Dan Shannon was encircled by a 3-foot-high black plastic curtain, not to provide a safety barrier, but to shield the more sensitive mourners from the sight of the raw earth in the sheer walls of the pit, which might force them into too stark a confrontation with the grim realities of the service that they were attending. The undertaker had also been discreet enough to cover the mound of excavated earth with black plastic and to drape the plastic with bouquets of flowers and bunches of cut ferns. In a mood to punish himself, Joey stepped to the yawning hole. He peered over the curtain to see exactly where his dad would be going. At the bottom of the grave, only half buried in loose earth, lay a body wrapped in blood-smeared plastic. A naked woman, face concealed, ribbons of wet blonde hair. Joey stepped back, bumping into other mourners. He was unable to breathe. His lungs seemed to be packed full of dirt from his father's grave.